Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Matt Reynolds, editor of Packaging World Magazine, and I'm here with Paul Jenkins, managing director of the PackHub.
That leads me very nicely into a new area to explore, which is around sort of bioplastic wraps and packaging formats. So this is a German-based supermarket chain called Norma, and they're moving their own label, Excelsior Magic du Chocolat premium chocolate range to a bioplastic wrapper. Now we've seen quite a few confectionery and chocolate brands go down this route. The new packs will use the cellulose-based NatureFlex, which you may have heard of from Futamura. And NatureFlex is designed to be a direct replacement for fossil-based plastics and can be processed using the same form, fill, and seal equipment. As NatureFlex is a bioplastic, it does not need to be disposed of in the plastic waste stream. Rather, it can be safely recycled in a household composter. NatureFlex is said to have a number of properties suitable for confectionery applications. So long gone are the days where there's a sort of a big compromise in terms of functional performance. So it's got high water vapor, gas and aroma barrier performance, strong seals, apparent excellent printability on pack, including gloss and clarity. So the new packaging will be used on a range of the brand's products for their 100-gram bars in the German market. And indeed, Norma have stores across Germany, Austria, France, and the Czech Republic. So a really good example of bioplastic packaging being applied to a German chocolate brand.
Okay, good. Now, bioplastic material is really on trend and important, but I wanted to take a brief detour here back to a paper product, and that's Ballisto. And what was important, Paul and I spoke offline, the previous pack was able, they were able to use existing equipment in, basically flow wrappers and so on that were already in use, and switch over to a different film material and still use, with some tinkering and retrofits, I'm sure, they were able to use the same equipment to put that chocolate into a completely different style of film. This is another case of that is Ballisto. They decided the traditional film flow wrapper. This is still flow wrapped on the same machines, but they went to a paper packaging. So imagine the difference in material handling for a machine between paper and traditional film wrapper. So I felt like this was a good opportunity for a quick detour to think upstream that these brands and the OEMs that are selling to these brands, they're not necessarily going to be capable of running the new material in a one-to-one type of exact replacement. There needs to be some sort of retrofit, and most brands aren't going to want to be doing the capital expenditures to buy a whole new $1 million piece of equipment to make these changes. So it's important to know, in the case of Ballisto, it's Mars Wrigley. They worked with their longtime supplier Syntagon, formerly Bosch Packaging, to be able to add on a retrofit to existing machineries to be able to put that, the existing chocolate into a whole new different flow wrap pack without major equipment outlays. So just wanted to take a quick brief detour there back to the compostable materials. In this case, this is on the right. We have Arbor Teas. They've moved to a backyard compostable material that's also using the Futamura material, NatureFlex. In this case, they were really happy with an existing pack that did the job well, but they noticed that over time, as it sat on shelf in retail situations, there would be some degradation of the pack, and then you would end up with a more brittle pack that didn't work so well with the teas. And often, depending on the types of teas that they had, some might sell more quickly than others. So they actually worked with the brands Eagle Flexible Packaging, Futamura, and Polycar together to put together a multi-layer material that is still backyard compostable. So they're using different types of inks and sealants and so on that allow this to look beautiful and stay on shelf and still be radiant on shelf for quite a bit of time without any degradation on shelf. But then still, as soon as you use the tea within, you can still have that certified, it's backyard compostable. So along the lines of bioplastic material, this I think was a big win for Arbor Teas in Michigan.
Dutch food delivery platform Thijs Bezorgd, I knew I would struggle with that pronunciation, is to offer a biodegradable packaging for their 12,000 affiliated restaurants it serves in in the Netherlands market. The biodegradable packaging will be provided by London-based Nopla. Nopla's innovative takeaway boxes are made primarily from wood pulp, as you can see, from trees and grasses. They have a waterproof coating on the exterior made from seaweed, making them completely grease and liquid repellent. Now, seaweed is a very interesting potential packaging material. Grows plentifully, it grows quickly, it grows in the sea, so it doesn't need water or farming land clearly to make it happen. So we're seeing lots of examples of seaweed being used as a packaging application, and this is another good example. So the packaging is designed to directly replace single-use plastic takeaway versions, and is said to biodegrade in around 4 to 6 weeks, although they're not clear as to in what conditions that would apply. The move is part of the company's ambitions to be more sustainable, and they're doing things like utilizing electric delivery vehicles as well. Nopla's source their seaweed from farms in Brittany and northern Spain, and they've developed you may have also seen a ketchup sachet that they've made from seaweed, which they've done through, I think, Deliveroo, as well as paper manufactured from seaweed fiber. So a very interesting sort of new application for the use of seaweed in packaging.
Yeah, very interesting. And what's most important is those examples that you gave, the Dutch example as well as a few of the others, are scalable. You know, whether it's a ketchup sachet or the food service, Dutch food service boxes or cartons that you just showed, those are scalable examples. Now, Nopla is not new. We've heard about them making these really splashy, interesting sorts of, sorry, my dog just walked in. You go back there. Splashy and interesting packaging prototypes. For instance, this is for Glenlivet, the famous Scotch whiskey. Each individual package there, that's a shot of a flavored whiskey that encapsulates, or that's encapsulated by a film made of seaweed. So these are interesting, non-scalable but thought-provoking kind of examples. Here's another one by a British company, a UK company called Zampla, and that's to the left. And they're actually making a film that's used in food kits. This is a food kit called, let me get here, Gusto Recipe Box. So Gusto Recipe Box essentially is trialing this with a certain number of willing participant customers that said they were going to give this a try. So essentially, the film is dropped into warm water, and because it's made from a pea-based protein, that just dissolves along with the vegetable stock that's within that cube, and it becomes part of the food. There's nothing that's discarded whatsoever. So that bouillon cube, along with its package, become part of your meal, which is all interesting. But these are more splashy, what can be done in the future type of examples. It's interesting that they're pushing the envelope, but what you demonstrated, Paul, is they're also scalable. And that puts a bow on everything. That brings us to the conclusion of the webinar, all the time that we have. Naturally, if you'd like to learn anything more about what we've discussed or like to discuss more with us, visit the websites that you see on your screen right now. Use the email addresses to contact Paul or I. That's all the time that we have for today. Sustainability Today.